Hey everybody, and welcome to the commentary video for the January Major Scholastic. I am National Master Justin Burgess, and I have Brian with me today.
Hello, how's it going?
Pretty good. All right, do you want to start in the K5 section?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ashish Jagan versus Pelham Penguin.
We
Looks like we
have,
have a Bishop's opening.
yes, transposing into a Italian. HC3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you know what high-rated player in Virginia likes to play the Bishop's opening?
In Virginia.
Yeah, one of the
Hmm.
guys who's been around for a long time.
Uh,
If you
I,
don't know, you're not going to guess it.
I don't think I know.
Andrew Samuelson.
Oh, okay. I think I
Yeah.
could have guessed that maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah.
All
It's
right. So White decided to trade off their knight for the bishop.
okay. Now that Rook on A has an open file to work with, but nothing
Mm-hmm.
special yet. Knight 82. We might see castles and then F4.
Yeah, I like
Bishop
knight
G4.
e2 because knight to f3, bishop to g4 would have been a little bit unpleasant, but this pin not so bad because you can play f3.
Yeah, worst case. You might not even have to. But castles is probably what we might see right now, and then followed by knight f6 or knight g7 somewhere.
Yeah, castle still looks fine. If knight to d4, just f3 again.
Mhm. Not a big deal that knight goes here. Can be kicked out with c3 as well.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll see White
Um,
try to push their f pawn at some point in this game and try to get a quick attack on f7.
yeah, it seems like everything's lined up already. Bishop eyeing down f7. The rook can open up after f4. Knight f6. Bishop g5 also in the
Mm-hmm.
cards.
You do have to be a little careful when you play f4. Like if you did it right now, the knight to d4 might win an exchange.
Right, which makes me wonder if c3 is a move we should consider just to avoid that, or if we
Yeah,
should play a move like h3 first.
right. Okay, he does bishop to g5, which also looks good.
Looks pretty good. Not okay. H6. We're gonna see the capture. What do you think?
I don't think we'll see the capture. I feel like that would just activate black's queen nicely.
Exactly. Bishop drops back. We see castles, and I don't know. I'm thinking that I really want to go for this f4 push, especially now that the bishop's on h4, exerting pressure on f6.
Yeah.
Um, how do we start? C3,
Yeah, c3
H3,
looks good. h3, like you suggested. Yeah, he goes c3.
C3. Now this is getting prepared. In case of G5 though, Bishop G3, and how do we continue from there? I guess H4 in that position would be strong with the bishop on G4.
Okay, black just backs up their bishop to e6. That looks pretty good. F4 is going to be not possible right away anyway, because black might capture it and then play G5, and there's that fork possibility.
Mm-hmm. Takes, and then you can't capture back with the knight or the rook because
Oh,
oh,
okay. Black takes
takes
on
on
C4
C4
first.
first, which I think is looking pretty good for black because those double pawns. I don't know. It makes the e pawn very weak.
Yeah, so now if we saw pawn takes F4, I wonder if white would need to take on F6 first, or if they can recapture with one of their pieces. It's getting very sharp.
So if knight takes f4, g5, can we maybe play knight d5 in that position?
And then if black takes it, and then the bishop is still hanging,
Yeah, we would take with the pawn and attack their knight. That's
yeah, I
my idea.
guess. Hmm.
Okay, so we see this variation said with the f
But I
pawn
think this is
returns.
okay. I think this is okay for black, though, what happened.
Yeah, I agree. This is looking pretty solid, I would say. I
They
mean,
have a beautiful outpost on e5. The e4 pawn is isolated. The c pawns are doubled.
mhm. And it doesn't seem like white has any sort of attack going that's pretty easy to execute. I mean, the rook has an open file, but that's about it. And
Hmm.
the knight doesn't really have any special squares. I guess he can go to d5, but
Hmm.
um doesn't really do much besides attacking c7, which can be defended easily.
Okay. Do you want to check out a new game?
Yeah, let's take a look at a different game.
How about Thunder Days versus Ballard Devils?
Got a French exchange. C5 though, making it interesting
Okay.
with the IQP. That pawn was traded, which looks pretty good for black. Um, there is a threat. Is there a threat of taking on F2 here and then hitting
Yeah,
the
or
bishop?
B2.
Or B2? Okay, bishop goes to B5 to defend that. Um,
Yeah, we
hmm.
might need. Oh, I wonder what black will do now. Rook E7 is possible, but also leaves your F6 knight a little bit less protected.
Yep. Um,
Rook F8, you don't really want to play that usually, but you might have to.
yeah, I think he doesn't have that many options. I don't think he wants to block with the bishop, right? Bishop D7.
Then bishop takes D7, queen takes D7, I guess, because the bishop on D4 still defends the knight on F6.
Then knight F3 might be annoying, right?
Right. Knight
Attacking
F3
the bishop.
is definitely annoying.
So I guess there's probably another way to defend that rook that's comfortable besides rook F8.
Oh, and that's what he does.
Mhm.
I was kind of thinking about knight to f3. Well, I guess the b2 pawn is hanging, so we'll see what white does about that. Anyway, the exchange French is not the most exciting opening in the world. It leads to a lot of symmetrical games. This one is more exciting than normal, but still not the most exciting opening.
Yeah, there's
Do you
some
want to?
tension, but
Yeah,
yeah, let's take a look at a different.
yeah. Let's check
Maybe
out the
K12.
K12. Totally. Swimmer chess SK versus wild bullet chess.
Ooh, this one's got some action going. Let's see. We have Sicilian.
Ooh, there we
Ooh,
go. That's a fighting opening.
C3.
The Smith Mora, and it was
Declined.
declined. Yes.
That's what I usually play nowadays. Don't want to get into that sort of trouble.
When you say that's what you play, do you mean the D3 variation
D3, yeah.
specifically?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
None of that nonsense for me.
Okay. I also like to decline it, but I usually do it with D5.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Knight to
Um,
F6 is like the other option besides those two. All right.
okay. Ooh. So we saw D5 and that was captured, and then E4, forking the two pieces.
Yeah, white made some very committal decisions. Let me see. The first thing I didn't like that much was queen to C2, because then after the natural move, rook to C8, knight to B4 was sort of like a positional threat to win the bishop pair. So white moved their queen for the second time. So that was a little bit of a loss of tempo. And
Right.
then B4 is another very committal move on move 15, because it leaves the C3 pawn just backwards and weak.
Yes. And so that's a big target later on. The knight jumped to C4. That was captured, so the bishop pair was gone. There's threats to both pawns.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
it
saw
looks
a
like
lot of pressure pile up on that pawn on C3.
yeah. Black also won a piece with that fork that you were talking about. So yeah, this one is
Yeah,
looking great for a swimmer.
D5 was a nice move.
Mhm.
So that was captured, and currently it is two pawns for the piece, but the pawns are not looking very strong right now.
Maybe black is trying to decide what they want to do about knight to e3 coming up soon. Like knight to e3 here is possible. I wonder if black is going to give up an exchange with rook takes c3, or I don't know. Maybe they're going to play bishop to e4, and maybe that will lead somewhere. I don't know.
Bishop b4, yeah, followed by takes maybe on d5, getting one of the pawns back, but I don't know. This one, maybe not so easy. Knight goes to e5 instead, though, which makes me think that bishop d5 is just automatic.
All your center squares are backwards.
Oh my gosh, yes, you're right.
Let me see. Yeah, yeah. Where will white go now? Like queen to f4 or g3? I don't know. The d5 pawn is just falling though.
Right. Hmm. You don't really want to trade queens. 3 down.
Maybe that's what black was going to do against knight to e3 is just go bishop to e4, take on d5, take back on c4, give up an exchange like that. I don't know.
But this is looking even better now. Black pawn is dropping.
Yeah.
And there's no real counterplay that I see right now for white.
Nope. Doesn't look like it. All right. Do you want to open a second game in the K12?
Yeah.
How
Let's see.
about Kavish Kishore versus Vanya Long?
Okay, we have a Queen's Gambit declined with c6.
Okay. So the Slav defense. Yep. The exchange of dark square bishops.
Current position right now. It's
Okay.
pretty even.
I guess white wants to play moves like b5, or they could also go for knight to a4 and knight to c5 or b6 at some point. You just have to be careful. Like knight a4 would currently blunder a pawn after knight takes d4.
Discovered attack on the knight. Yep. So there's that tactic that stops that plan. I'm guessing black in the meantime wants to put a rook on c8.
Yeah, I think rook c8 is good because it also threatens to win a free pawn that way as well.
Another discovered attack on this knight on c3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's looking pretty close right now, but it might open up soon. These rooks are lining up to attack the queen side very, very fast.
Right. I'm not 100% sure about where white put their two rooks. It's going to be a little hard to. Okay, interesting.
B8, okay.
Hmm.
Is the idea maybe to play B6 to prevent that knight from coming in?
Or maybe b5. I don't know. It's hard to say. The knight can't
Oh,
really come in anyway because of that tactic we were talking about.
right. I'm just trying to figure out why rook B8.
Yeah,
Were
I'm
we
not
afraid
sure.
maybe of playing B5 because of a sacrifice and then the two pawns would roll or something? Maybe.
Maybe.
Not sure why rook B8 was played, but we'll see soon.
I think white is just going to play b5 now. That seems to be what they're preparing anyway with all their pieces.
Yeah, I don't see why not at the moment. Yeah, it's gonna be a fight for the queen side. Nothing really going on the king side over there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna get messy on this side of the board. Let's take a look at a different K12 game.
Okay.
And now we can go back to the K5 if you want.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. We'll open up a new game in the K5 and then the K12 after that. All right, K5. Let's see. We haven't checked out Theo versus Cat Ninja.
Ooh, we're walking into a fork. See how we
Ooh,
got there.
yes, we're joining on a nice night fork.
Skim through real quick, see what's going on. Okay, D5 was played after E6 later on. Ooh, okay, so what's going on here after knight takes E5?
Yeah, white took back with the pawn, and then D5 was hanging.
Knight G5, and pressure on F3,
Mm-hmm.
and then E4 was played.
I'm trying to think
C6.
what white was supposed to do after knight to G5, because even though the F3 knight was defended, I mean, black's main threat was to like play E6 or C6, chase away white's knight, and then trade queens, and that would win a piece.
Right. Because
So,
a queen would be lost.
not really sure what white was supposed to do. I wonder if there's any chance that knight takes D5 was just a blunder.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out now. What about, yeah, because you have to keep defending this knight.
Yeah, C6 is like the biggest threat. I guess
E6
E6.
doesn't work?
E6 allows knight f6 check. Oh, you mean E6 for white?
Uh-huh.
With the idea that black can't, or black has to take with like the bishop or something, maybe?
Because if you take with the bishop, then you can take on g5, right?
Right.
And if you take with the knight, then you lose some of the pressure on f3. Maybe you can play.
Well, if you take with the knight or with the pawn, there's a tactic of knight f6 check.
Oh, right, exactly. That was like my main idea, and I forgot. So would that work then to save the piece?
Yeah, that's interesting. E6.
Because you were already up pawn there, so you just give it back. I mean, you might lose b2 at the end of the line or something, but I think you're not losing a piece, maybe.
What if black just like responds to E6 with like queen to D8 or something? Something chill.
Queen d8. Hmm. Let's see.
And then still C6 is kind of annoying.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll have to check at the end of the game.
it gets complicated, but
But in the current game, we know that black definitely was winning. They traded the queen, so that gave them a free piece and a fork. And so then black is just up a whole rook.
up a whole rook, gonna double up, and yeah, eventually this game
Yeah.
will end in a win for black. Let's take a look at another K12 game. Okay, if they
Yeah,
want
or
to keep
let's
in the
stop by the
K5.
K while we're at the K5. Let's stop by those games we had been looking at and see how they're going. We left Ashish and Pelham at think Queen E5 on move 15.
Yes, we saw Queen D3 after that. Jack's knight
Black.
finally came to E5, and
Mhm.
looks like C4 was going to drop. A2 also dropped. I jumped to D5.
Black was threatening knight F6 check, or white was, so black played knight to G6. Then white started using their H pawn to try to dislodge it.
And then King H7, that dropped F7.
So
Okay, this
rook
is the current
takes
position.
C7 is one possibility here. Knight to F6 check is another possibility. Actually, isn't knight F6 check just mating?
Right, because after King, okay, we saw H5 instead, but yeah, Knight F6.
You can't take with the pawn, so king H8 only move. Queen takes on G6. And then I'm just going to play queen H7 checkmate, no matter which of my pieces you take.
Unstoppable. Yeah. Wow, that was missed.
Yeah.
H5 instead, which also looks pretty good, but not as good.
Yeah, H5 is a cool move. Rook takes F7, loses a piece. And also, you can't move the knight.
Yeah, so found another way to win the game. This is looking pretty good, I think. Um, yeah, I think
Okay.
I said earlier that it doesn't seem like White had any attacking
Once that rook got to the
possibilities.
7th rank, though, that changed everything. I'm not sure if black should have allowed this. King
King
H7,
H7.
probably not the
Yeah.
best move.
How do you I mean H5, that's the threat. So how do you maybe with E5?
Yeah, and also like maybe giving up the exchange doesn't matter that much if you can take like a lot of other stuff on the queen side.
Yeah. C4 was behaving D2 as well. Anyway, current position, rook takes F7, H takes G, and then we also will see a trade on F7.
Probably rook F1 again, and then yeah, white's going to be mating with knight E7.
87 on the board now. And
Mate in 2.
no matter where the king goes, that is going to be game over.
Yeah, I guess we can just see if he spots the finish really fast before we move on. But rook F8, there it is.
Yep, and then we'll see Queen G6, I am sure of it.
Yes.
Okay,
Checkmate.
that is game.
I am gonna briefly check the analysis board now just to see like what was happening. Let me see. So
After H4, right?
yeah, apparently white was doing really well with rook takes f7 when they played h4. I guess the idea is to bring the other rook to f1, take on g6, maybe something like that.
And
Um,
then that knight would be very tricky there.
instead, after h4, then black was winning with a few moves, rook e6, rook f8. Then there were some other moves like you suggested, rook e5, which would have been even. But king h7, it was just game over.
Yeah, dropping f7 was a
Yeah.
big mistake. Yeah, we saw this. Okay. I
All right.
see.
How about Thunder Days versus Ballard Devils again? I
Where
think
do
we
we
left
leave it
that
off?
on.
After rook f8, right? And then we saw queen e2.
Yeah. Okay.
a6 captures on c4. Um, piece developments here.
Kind of a crazy game. Lots of stuff happening.
Yeah, so b7 and a6 just dropped. The rook. Okay, actually, the bishop captured on b2. Discovered attack on the knight, attacking the rook. The rook went to d1 to defend. We doubled up on that, and I think the knight can just move, right?
Yeah, I think knight to c4 looks pretty good. I mean, we just attack the rook and the bishop. And also, if rook takes d1, we just play rook takes d1 again.
Yep, the queen does a good job of defending that from a4.
I feel like black will need to be careful not to lose material in this game.
Yeah. There it
Rook
is.
takes,
Knight
rook
c4.
takes. Like, where does black go after that? Their knight, I mean, their bishop and queen are both under attack.
Yeah, this is not looking too good actually, knight c4, because you also have this pressure on f6. So let's
Yep.
say we trade once, rook takes, queen b8.
Yep.
There's also rook b1 to pin.
True.
So there's already ideas of taking on f6.
But I thought what you were going to say is just like take on b2 after queen b8, and then they take back, and then you take on f6, and then you take on e8.
That's even better. Yep. Let's show that.
Just everything is sort of like defending each other barely. So you just kind of like work your way through the chain of undefended pieces until something's hanging.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, this knight c4 move is very strong.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what black should do now. Trying to find a way to limit the damage. Hmm.
Well, I think you do have to capture on d1. And we'll see rook takes. And then you got to defend the bishop.
I mean, what if you did some move like rook to d4? I mean, what do you have to take the? Oh, I guess yeah. What about rook to d4?
Oh, there's no bishop f6. Hmm. Rook d4. Can we put more pressure? The thing is, you attack my bishop, but not really. What about queen b3?
But if queen b, okay. I don't know. What if I take on d1 at that point and then play bishop to d4? It looks uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
at
So
least,
we're seeing this variation with the queen going to
yeah.
b8.
At least if your queen had to move to b3, then some of the tactics would go away. Like you wouldn't have the bishop takes f6, queen takes e8 tactic anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think white's going to win with knight takes b2, but we'll see what they come up with. What about knight takes b2, g5? Is that probably not. Probably not.
Is it necessary? Might be, right? So
Well,
otherwise
I'm
you're
just trying
losing
to
a
find
piece.
anything for black that doesn't just lose a piece, because knight
Right,
takes,
right.
queen takes, bishop takes f6 definitely looks game over.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. uh, Yeah, what if you just take?
I mean, if black plays g5, like I'm thinking about moves like queen d4, which attack the knight on f6 and also defend the knight on b2. So
Oof.
then maybe white would just stay up a piece.
There's no way. No counterattack or anything.
Rook
Takes.
b1 was played.
Okay.
I think that was
Um.
the first move you suggested, right?
Yeah, but after he gave that line, because I didn't realize that the rook was hanging in that line, so this is
I mean, this
not
also might work.
not looking as good as the other one.
I saw the other one because it was a little bit more forcing, I thought, with more captures, but this one also looks pretty good. What about
Let's
well,
give it
knight to d5?
ease.
I don't really know. Oh, okay. So
What's the idea?
obviously white can't take with the rook on b2.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So knight takes b2 is probably what he's counting on, but then knight to c3, I guess, is what black wants. Okay.
Okay. Tricky.
Again, we can check after the game. I just thought that like knight takes b2 right away was simpler to not allow all of these tricks, but
Yeah, I agree.
all right. The Theo game with Cat Ninja has finished, by the way. Theo won, so we can close that one.
Mhm.
And okay, I guess we can go back to the K12.
Okie let's take a look at.
Swimmer chess has already won versus wild bullet chess.
Yep, up 2 pieces in that one at the end.
And
Oh,
before
it's
we
me.
check in on Kavish versus Vanya, let's open up a new game. How about, well, Kidfire is up a pretty good amount of material, so maybe we'll check out
One's closer.
what is closer, actually.
The
All the
other
games
games,
look
yeah,
lopsided.
look like yeah, one side is gonna win.
Illusions Jr. is just up by a knight. Le Dinosaur is up by a queen versus a rook and bishop, so that's kind of close.
Yeah, this one's a little bit more complicated. Let's see. Bishop's closed out right now.
Yeah, let me see. We had a Dutch defense, just checking the opening really fast.
Is there any fortress ideas? I don't think so.
Do fortresses exist?
Hmm? I don't know. Ask Magnus.
Exactly.
Um, but there is some rook d5 maybe to
Yeah.
limit that queen for now,
Yep.
temporarily at least. Um, putting some pressure on this e pawn. But the queen gets in on e6. That's why maybe rook d5 is perhaps the better start.
For a second here, I thought rook takes e5 would be like a really cool move, but unfortunately, there's no back rank checkmate.
So how do we defend e7 there?
How do we defend e7? Probably we don't. Like maybe we go rook d2,
On the board.
and then I think probably f3 or something.
F3 to defend, and then what?
If we need to, we can go bishop f8, I guess. Whoa, what?
G4.
No way. This is already like
And F2 was
minimum
captured
a draw.
immediately.
This is like minimum a draw for Ego Rich already. So
G4. Was that a mouse slip, do you think? I don't know.
I don't see how it could be a mouse slip. I think he just maybe
If you want to play
forgot.
F3, move the G pawn. I don't know. Oh, it's mate!
The dinosaur has gone from a winning position to a drawing position to getting mated in two in like
Oh
just a couple
no.
moves. Oh no.
And it is checkmate next move, and it
Oh
is
no.
found. Oh my goodness, what a turnaround. How did we even get in this position in the first place? It was a Dutch opening.
Oof.
Quickly gonna skim through it. Pretty close position for most of the game.
Oh, that was just such a
Oh,
rough finish to the
sacrifice.
game for the dinosaur. Yeah, just
Oh
check the
no.
computer analysis. F3 to prevent the doubled rooks on the second rank was winning big time for white. And then after G4, it should have been a perpetual check
Mhm.
after the two rooks got to the second rank. But then rook F1, it was mate.
Oh no, this
Oh
common
boy.
pattern of the rooks
Yeah.
checkmating needs to be reviewed. But yeah, that's unfortunate turn of events here for late dinosaur, but it
Let's check.
happens.
Let's check the. Let's just open the Kidfire versus Ani DMV chess game so we can comment on it briefly.
Go over the opening real quick.
This would be a really interesting endgame if Kidfire didn't have their A pawn.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
as it is, they're just going to push it, and Black's going to have to give up their rook for it.
So the queen. Okay. Current position right now, yes. Hmm.
Yep, there's just no way around this. Kidfire is going to be up a queen at the end.
Yep, that pawn is going to promote with the help of this queen. In fact, you can push a7 right now, and then
Yeah, it's a
rook.
good move. It's kind of like what stylish move do you want to play? You could play a7, you could play queen to b7, you
Mm-hmm.
could play what he just did. All right.
A lot of things
How
work
about
here for Kidfire.
how about the game that we started a while back? This was the closest game left for sure. Kavish versus Vanya Long.
We left after rook b8. Then we saw knight a2.
Okay, knight a2, a mysterious move. I think white wanted to play a4 and have the b4 pawn guarded.
Hmm. But the knight went back to c1. Knight
Mm,
to a7 was played as well.
okay.
We saw some trades this way, but yeah, I don't know. And on move 19, these two squares, e4 and c4, look pretty good for the knights. So let's
Well,
see what
white's
happens.
most recent move was very interesting. Knight to c4.
Wow.
Yeah, trying to trade the knight for the knight on e4. So
He
that's what
takes
this
f2.
is what I was going to say. Like either knight takes f2 or I was thinking about rook takes c4 and then knight takes f2 similar. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I don't think it wins a pawn though. I think
this
this is
is
just a fancy trade.
yeah, but I think that I don't think white is happy about this, right? The king has to go to f2.
Yeah.
Some weak dark squares could be maybe attack later on, but doesn't seem like the end of the world either.
Yeah.
So we'll see captures on c4 now, followed by maybe knight d6 attacking whatever captures
Okay.
on c4, and then some ideas.
Yeah. All right, let's hop back to the K5. It looks like we just have the one game left. Thunder Days is still up. Where did we leave this game? Oh,
Uh
yeah.
oh, we saw bishop g3 after knight d5.
And then knight to c3 anyway.
Hmm. Queen trade, and
Somehow black got
just like
out of
that,
all of that
black
and they were only
survived.
down a pawn. Yeah.
Yes. And let's take a look at the current position now. It's bishop versus knight right now, and ooh, black gave up a pawn with f5, thinking that they could pin it. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it should have just been well, black would have been down the A pawn regardless, but f5 certainly made things even more difficult. Now they're down two pawns.
Yeah, and here knight e3 was played. I think you just played bishop takes e5, and you can't take the knight with the pawn because you take here, and if rook takes, then
What were
maybe you
you
get your
saying?
king in.
Let me check your screen.
Knight e3, maybe you could have taken the bishop.
King takes e5.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but then rook takes f5 check, and you would lose your f pawn.
King e6. Okay, I was thinking maybe we would want our king to be closer so we can push the pawn, but yeah, I guess not.
Okay. White backed up their knight to e3, possibly because I'm not sure if rook takes f2 was good or not. Like rook takes f2, knight to g4 might have been the concern.
And that's a forky.
And then there would be the move rook to e2 check, and then there would be like some king move that attacks the rook. And then there might be like rook e1. I mean, I don't know, it's like very close to losing a piece.
Yeah, the rook gets e4 at the end though, which I don't know.
I can't visualize it anymore. Also, could the white rook have pinned on the e file at the end of the variation?
Let's take a look real quick. There's only 2 games left anyway. Um,
Rook takes f2, knight g4, check.
pin here. And then there's also
Well,
knight f6 ideas.
well, I wasn't thinking about king d2 because now there would be some checks with the bishop, like bishop f4 or bishop c3 win the game.
Oh, okay.
But maybe like as soon as we can get the chance.
Here instead of king d2.
Does this work? Now there would be moves like bishop to g3 though. Okay, maybe it wasn't super simple. I mean, white might still win because they have the passed a pawn, but hard to say.
Yeah, hard to say because that bishop is long range. Anyway, current
Yeah.
position, the rooks were traded.
White should win this. They're up a pawn. They're not, they're up a pawn on both sides of the board actually. So yeah, white's totally gonna win this.
This is okay.
Knight
Knight
f7, great move.
Take another pawn.
3 pawns up. Yep.
Should be straightforward. I don't think I see a way for black to trick weight, at least not yet.
Yeah, no way.
Just don't see it.
Kidfire has won their game with the extra queen versus Ani DMV Chess. So I think we just have 2 games left, one in each section.
Okay, that drops 1 pawn, but it gets the other one. So now it's just 3 versus 0.
Yep. I think we should mostly focus now on Kavish versus Vanya Long because that game is still very even.
Say we saw capture. We did see knight d6. We saw rook c1.
Black is taking over the c file, which looks really nice. It's the only open file on the board.
Knight's being attacked. Yeah, this game's it's pretty even.
Yep. I wonder
Probably
if
take black here, but
yep.
That's special, maybe.
Knight to e4 maybe is what Kavish is considering. I'm not sure.
Let's see. So if you don't trade, the knight goes to c5. I guess you can kick it out with b6 though.
True, but then a6 is also weak.
Ah, and you can't trap the knight. Yeah. For some reason I thought queen b7 was good there. Okay.
If white plays knight e4, then black can trade everything and go rook c1 and get their queen down there, maybe take the a3 pawn. But on the other hand, white will be attacking the b7 pawn. So hard to evaluate.
Let's show that. I don't know.
I guess e3 is hanging if the white king had gone this direction. Maybe they should go the other direction. I'm not sure though. Because I suppose if you, well, yeah, it's just complicated. I don't know. Probably it's pretty even as long as neither player gets a pass pawn on the queen side.
Yeah, it's complicated. I don't know, king f3 maybe. And then you want to hang out to this guy. Maybe you just go back.
Yeah, or you could let white take it because then you get to take the b pawn. It's probably just pretty even as long as these pawns get traded one way or the other.
I don't know. Seems pretty even. Still way to move.
Yep.
They're using their time, so that's good to see.
Trying
to find the best move.
Not a lot of other options. Maybe knight to e2 is possible.
E2. So you can get to 4 maybe. It's yeah. Still a game for sure. It's not easy.
Thunder Days has one in their in the K5 game.
That finishes that section.
Oh, we were going to check something in that game, I think. Let me see these crazy tactics in the middle game.
Yeah.
So rook to d6 was a blunder. Knight to c4 was the winning move. Capture, capture. Queen to b8. And then rook b1 was good. It was the third best move. But the two moves that were the most winning were bishop to g3 and knight takes b2. They were tied.
Bishop g3 and knight takes b2. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, those look pretty good.
And
Knight takes
after
b2
rook
was my favorite.
b1, knight d5 was correct. Knight c3. I mean, I think kind of what happened in the game, except white shouldn't have played bishop takes b8. They should have just
Move the queen.
moved the queen. I guess that makes sense because black's queen is still under attack. And so then next move, white just takes on b2. But
White
okay.
won anyway, but had to work a little bit harder for it.
So knight a4 was just played in Kavish's game.
Okay, trying to
Also trying to get to
get to
c5.
c5.
Mm-hmm.
That traded rooks, okay.
Okay.
And after the king moves, what's the idea? Do I like maybe knight c4? Hitting a3 and e3?
Okay.
Okay, setting up a discovered attack here.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't even see a good discovered attack.
Yeah, even if white blundered a discovered check, I'm not sure if there's anything that could really be devastating. But no reason to allow it, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. Just in case.
Just in case.
Okay. They don't agree that there's anything special there for black, so
All right.
I think I have to agree. I don't see it. What
If black
about knight
wants to trade
f5?
knights, they could play knight e4.
What about knight f5?
Okay.
Still doesn't do much. I mean, get the g3 square, but how good is it?
Knight f5, king g1,
Queen g3.
queen g3, but now you're well, okay. You are attacking the e3 pawn. So white could take on b7, black could play knight takes e3 or something. White would have to defend checkmate with queen e2 or some move like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess queen e2. You're also covering e1.
So
Gets
then white's
complicated,
king
but
would be a little bit weak, but also white would have one extra pawn on the queen side where they could try to make a pass pawn.
yeah. Okay, we see 94.
Okay, just don't play king h1. That's all I know.
King h1 is just the only move that loses here.
Has to be king g1.
See why that would be played. So are we
Okay,
gonna see the
good move.
trade?
At this point, I feel like black is going to trade because what was the point of knight e4 if they're not going
Exactly.
to trade? But is the trade really good for black or not? Like, or is it good for white, or is it just even? I would take back with the d pawn probably and try to have this extra queenside pawn.
Yeah, I was gonna say now you have a 3 versus 2, and the queen gets that open d file.
Yep.
So normally you would want to take towards the center, but this is an exception for sure.
Yeah, I think I prefer white slightly.
Yeah, after 94, seems like this capture is looking pretty good.
If d takes c5, maybe black can could try bringing their king to the center. Probably not so bad.
Yeah, the thing is, then your queen is kind of stuck there, right? Where do you go? Because there's always, if you play like King of Fate to e7, do you ever want to go to e7 or no?
I mean, probably.
Yeah. I guess you would have to worry about like queen d6 stuff if the queen moves off the diagonal, so I don't know.
I mean, king f8 might allow some queen h7 stuff, so I don't really know.
Oh,
But I guess if queen h7, maybe queen e5, and then black is defending the g7 pawn, attacking the e3 pawn.
and time is starting to become a little bit relevant now.
Yep.
Under 2 minutes and a half is Kavish now. Time pressure is piling up.
Yep, needs to make some decisions pretty soon.
Okay. I mean, if you take with the B pawn, uh, maybe queen a5 there. Not
Mm-hmm.
sure. Eyeing down e1. Okay, takes with the d pawn though.
Okay, I like it.
Now what is black's
Yeah, I'll
plan?
be interested to see what black does now.
Hmm.
G6.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine. And can we start pushing those pawns? A4. Is that possible?
A4. Sure.
There's some annoying queen moves like maybe queen e5, threatening queen a1.
Right.
That you have to worry about as white. But
Mm-hmm.
maybe in that case you have moves like queen d4,
Mm-hmm.
and that queen would have to move again.
Maybe you could even play queen d8 check, hope for king g7, and then
Ah,
trade the
any trade. And
queens.
then that's winning.
I guess I'm not even 1,000% sure that it's winning, but I'll just assume that it is.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming. All right, queen d4 first though.
Okay.
Preventing queen e5. The queen g3, is that annoying?
Queen
G3.
g3 doesn't really threaten that much, though.
Yeah, I know, but what other moves can we make to perhaps improve black's position?
Yeah, wanted to improve the king. I thought king f8, king e7 would be improving. I'm not sure about g6 because then the king can't go to g7 anyway. Going to h7 seems like it's just going the opposite way that it should be.
Yep.
If the king gets too far away, also, like if the king ever does go to h7, then moves like queen to d6 become possible. And then you can't exchange queens
Oh, that's a
anymore.
good point. Yeah. King's too far away to stop the pawns. Vanya has more time here, but
Hmm.
perhaps is worse here in this position.
Maybe you should just do queen to c6 and okay, queen e7.
Hmm. Not sure where you're going here, so I don't see why you can't play a4 here. Start rolling the pawns.
Okay.
About 1 minute left for Kavish. 5 second increments, but sometimes that's not enough. Hmm.
Yeah, I think a4 probably pretty good.
As black here, do you ever want to push your pawns on the king side? For example, like e5, f5. Is that ever a thing you want to do?
I don't know. I kind of feel like no, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I would say no also, but I don't know. I kind of don't want to just like sit around, you know?
Yeah. It's probably objectively like pretty close to even. I mean, I think white would have a slight advantage, but it probably wouldn't be like anything overwhelmingly one way or the other.
Yeah. Okay. Queen e4. So we saw queen d4 and then queen e4. Just
Okay.
maneuvering.
Black could just keep shuffling their queen on the seventh rank, or they could try to bring their king closer to the center.
Mhm. I guess we should note that going for a trade of pawns with a move like queen f6 takes on b7, check, and takes on a3 is not good for black because of the c6 pawn.
So king f8 looks slightly suspicious, but it's probably okay still. White could do moves like queen e5, threatening mate in 1, and black would just need to be a little bit careful.
On the board.
All right. Queen b8 is also not a winning threat, but just something to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm. Because then you can't block with the queen. Ooh, f6.
All right.
Hmm. Now where's that queen
I
going?
think I like queen b8 still.
On the board. Can't block because that b pawn drops, so you have to play king up.
Time to start pushing some of these pawns.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that. I think maybe now's the time. Especially now that this 7th rank is vulnerable.
Yeah.
The queen can't really leave because the b7 pawn would drop a check. Queen goes back to f4 though.
Ooh, I don't really know what that does.
Not sure. 16 seconds left for Kavish.
Yes.
Definitely some time trouble right now. But I am a bit surprised we haven't seen this idea with a4 yet. e5
Maybe
attacking the queen.
Queen c. What did you say? Oh yeah. Maybe queen c4 or something. Queen f3.
F3. Lying down to b7 pawn. 12 seconds left. More than 5 minutes for Vanya.
Vanya just needs to not blunder anything.
Mm-hmm. I think once Kavish goes under 10 minutes, that pressure is
10 minutes.
gonna under 10 seconds.
Yes.
That pressure is going to be way too much.
The nice thing about 5-second increment though is you can just kind of build your time back up a little bit.
Right. Especially online, but
yeah.
Personally, when I get under 10 seconds, I get pretty nervous.
Okay.
Maybe
I think playing like
thing,
5-second delay is like pretty nerve-wracking because if you get down to like 1 or 2 seconds, then you literally know that you can't take more than 5 seconds for any single move.
Yeah, that is not a pleasant experience, especially over the board.
Exactly.
Kind of makes me wish we had delay online just to get that type of game, you know.
Even professional players were kind of struggling with it at the recent FIDE Rapid and Blitz. There were a lot of people flagging.
Oh, a4, finally. Finally, that move a4, and now we might see b5 and c6.
I'm going to predict the Kavish still wins this game, even with all the time trouble.
Okay.
Okay. Whoa. Does this work? Okay. Take, b5. Take. King is coming.
King gets in first.
Oh boy. Don't allow king d5 probably. Should you play e4? It might be too late.
But then d5, then f5, right?
Right.
You can get into d5 anyway.
f5, but then you could go king e3. You still won't get in. Yes.
Okay.
This still looks good for Kavish because they're going to use their outside pass pawn to win the game, possibly. f4.
Ooh,
good move.
f4.
I like it.
Now this king needs to make a decision.
Yes.
Goes to d.
All right. Black should probably play like g5, some move like that. Try to play h5, g4, get their own pass pawn going eventually.
This needs to have. Ooh, but now h4.
H4. One pawn stops two. One pawn stops two.
b5 on the board. This game is getting exciting. 12 seconds for Kavish.
Take, and then you don't even need to do anything with your king right now. Just play g5.
g5 is the key move here.
g5. I mean, even if white does play h4 at some point, like it's not clear that that will just stop all of black's pawns because later they could do some pawn sacrifice possibly.
Yeah, like g5 and then h4, f3, h3, and stuff like that. Okay. We did see g4 now.
Now I think a draw is the most likely result. Neither player should really do that much with their pawns now at this point. I think they should mostly just move their kings around.
Yeah, I think this is correct. Now this black king can never get in. Everything is covered.
Black ever plays b6, then white should never take. They should just play c6 check. And then it should be a draw with both sides having this dangerous pass pawn potential.
Yep, I think we'll see a shuffle of kings and then Ooh,
Ooh. It probably doesn't change too
think it's
much.
still okay.
Yeah.
Just gotta be careful of F3 ideas now. Wait,
Yeah.
the king has to stay closer now to
The
the
white
king
king
side.
just has to stay around
Mhm.
F3 or E2.
Yep.
So,
Shuffle
so
this way.
maybe G3 was, good. Cuts down on white's options.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing that black should keep an eye on is C6, pawn takes C6, and then B6. It's not possible quite yet, but if the king were to venture one more file over, thinking that, oh, B takes, I'm still going to catch up. No, no,
Mhm.
no.
Very tricky stuff.
Yep,
Kavish has built some time though now, and it should be a draw,
should be a
despite the
draw.
time difference. Yeah.
I think black can only lose if they play king to the F file,
Yep.
and white can only lose if they respond to the move B6 with C takes B6 check.
I think both players understand though that they can't move the kings too far away.
Yeah.
And pushing their pawns is not the way.
All right. Black is probably going to go for their last idea of B6.
Trying to go for the win is Vanya. Will we see B6 on the board? Trying to take advantage of this time pressure.
We gotta see it at some point, just because it's the last winning chance for either player.
I think if you realize that if you play B6, and it's still a draw, then you might as well put that extra pressure on your opponent when they're going
Exactly.
time.
One final test, even if it's like a really easy test to pass, you gotta make them pass it.
Yes, exactly. Um, yeah, Vanya thinking about this. Yeah, this should be a draw. The K5
Mm-hmm.
section has ended a while back.
Yep.
So this is the last game of the tournament. Mhm.
You think there's more of a chance that black?
There
Okay,
it
here we go.
is. There it is.
C6 right
And
away.
C6 right away.
All right.
This is basically a handshake.
Now we should see the repetition.
Well played, endgame. Perhaps White could have put some extra pressure there, but I think Black responded well. Yep. Kings are just gonna shuffle.
Tejas is in the chat wondering why he is not advancing the king. I'm not sure which king you mean, but maybe we should really briefly show why neither king can advance.
So if the king were to go to c5, then he cannot stop the c7 pawn from queening, and then Black would lose.
Maybe he wonders why the white king is not advancing.
If he's wondering why the White king is not going forward, that is because f3, the threat of taking and then queening,
Mm-hmm.
would win, and if that's captured, then the b pawn rolls.
Exactly. So actually, I think the players played it perfectly, and both players did what they needed to just make the game a draw.
Yes, and that concludes the tournament. Last game.
Yep. All right. So I guess we'll read the final standings. In the K5 section, we had first place and 4 out of 4 for both Ashish Jagan and also Thunder Days.
Nicely done.
And then in third place on tie breaks, we had RB Hupathi 04. Also special mention to Theo BPS 10, Pelham Penguin, and AJ 1407, who just missed out on tie breaks but had very good tournaments.
Good games.
All right. In the K12 section, we had 4 out of 4 clear first place for Swimmer Chess SK. In second place on tie breaks, Kavish Kishore. Third place, Wild Bullet Chess. And then just missing out on tie breaks, Green Light 23, Illusions Junior 20, Illusions Junior, and Kidfire, Vanya Long, Last Shaw. Wow, there were more people at 3 than I was expecting. Good turnout today.
A lot. Very close tournament.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks everybody for playing, and thanks, Brian. It was a fun commentary today.
Yeah, very fun games. Some very interesting end games. Glad to be here as always.
Yep. All right. Well, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like today's commentary video, and we'll see you again online next week. Bye, everybody.
Have a good one. Bye.